Hello and welcome to Patch. I'm your host, Paul James. Today I'm joined by Damo Camilleri. I nearly called you Damo Phillips then.
Damo Phillips.
And Mano Camilleri. And today we are talking, and it's kind of inspired by the recent announcement of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
San Diego Comic-Con.
We're discussing, at San Diego Comic-Con, we're discussing whether it's possible for games to have its own... That's right, it'll work.
Oh, look at that detail.
Bloodborne, look at it. It's been hijacked by Bloodborne. And Bloodborne hijacked fucking everything. So, is it possible for games to have its own Marvel Cinematic Universe? Since Marvel tried to
understand the
realign things in their gaming sector in the last few years, we've seen Spider-Man. We've seen what was the Switch one again? Marvel
Alliance.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah, that's it. And of course, we've got the Avengers on the way, which looks about as ho-ho. Oh yeah, and Iron Man VR. So, which apparently was playable in some capacity at San Diego Comic-Con, so we'll see. That's all right, let it keep doing this thing. That was pretty sweet, actually. But, way to ruin a good thing. So, basically, it opens up the topic of, is it possible? Because we obviously are seeing some attempts to get the Marvel games going again. It's not clear yet whether there's a connection between all these things, but should there be? Can there be?
Ooh. Well, that depends, because Spider-Man's
because Spider-Man seems super self-contained.
But sort of also a PlayStation exclusive, so it's sort of like the Sony.
Yeah.
It is a Sony. Sony. Yeah, but sort of like Spider-Man's owned by Sony, so you don't say it's not going to be happening on Xbox anytime soon. But is the Avengers on...
But then again, is Spider-Man in Ultimate Alliance?
Yes.
Yeah, it might. I felt like that was just Marvel, because I think Sony owns it when it comes to the film sense. I don't think it extends to anything else. So I think a game Spider-Man could go in. I'm pretty sure it was just for, because this was a deal signed back before Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, as in the Tobey Maguire ones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And certainly games weren't a factor, like the part of their thinking then, because no one thought games were going to be what they are. So I think it's separate, and I think that was just Marvel wanted to work with Insomniac wanted to work with PlayStation. There was the threesome. So you chuckled far too much at that. So yeah, obviously we've got Spider-Man, we've got Ultimate Alliance, we've got Iron Man on the way, which is also conveniently enough PlayStation exclusive because it's on PlayStation VR. Though it might come to Oculus and those sort of things later. Should a Marvel universe of games just come straight to PlayStation? No.
Well, it might get people...
The
console war begins.
Yeah, again. Xbox can have DC. Sure, go for it. You can get Batman and...
Yeah, one of the greatest.
No, don't get me wrong.
Games
don't get me wrong. All four of those games, because Origins is legit as well. All four of those games are great.
Nice big space.
But that's all you're going to get out of DC in the game space. That's any good.
Superman.
An Aquaman game would have been.
How could you play Superman though? He's the most nothing can actually hurt him, unless everyone
magic.
Everyone has kryptonite. Everyone has
nuclear radiation, red suns. I don't know. Maybe he enters a magic world. I don't know, where everybody has a magical item and everything can hurt him.
And everyone has krypton on their knuckles. Kryptonite on their knuckles.
In their blood.
I mean, he's not immortal.
Well, no, he's not. But it's just it's one of those sort of things. And if someone doesn't have that, it's one punch, they're dead.
What if?
It's just.
Did you not play Injustice?
Too overpowered. But that's different. It's a fighting game.
Doesn't matter. Definitely can do something like it.
I don't know. But back on our Marvel stuff, can they all get connected? Can it feasibly? Can they be connected? Or is things like a PlayStation exclusive, for example? Versus then Avengers, which is not. Can you do that? Because otherwise, you're basically saying, if you want to get the full experience, you're going to have to spend $600 on a PS4. You're going to have to spend $600 on Xbox One.
Do you want to play 20 hours
on Switch as well?
But do you want to play 20 hours on a game just to understand what happens in another game?
Well, I mean, people spend shit tons of money when it comes to the cinema. Now it's a bit different because the cost for entry for a movie versus buying a game.
Sit there and watch.
But yeah, and I still haven't been able to do it. And I'm 15 movies behind by now. But I'm getting. One of these days I'll get there. But
you just wait till Endgame.
Insult DC that is finished all the Marvel movies.
That is the big barrier, though. Like you raised that point, and I think it's bang on the money that because you've got exclusives, that does limit They can be brilliant games, but I don't know if you can necessarily connect them.
Well, the problem is, I think Spider-Man is leading to big time, which is where things looking up for Peter. Like, he has his own company. He's dating the girl. He's
And then they kill his ass.
He's doing well and everything like that. But behind the scenes,
And just spoilers, just to be
somebody's pulling all the strings, and then the whole empire comes crumbling down. Well, I really think that's what they're leading to up in this.
Oh, so it's the old standard superhero thing: the rise, and the downfall, and the resurrection.
Yeah, but this was like everyone thought, oh my god, yes, everything's coming up for Pete. Like, it made you really think, because like he was on
spoilers.
on
Just be
top of
careful.
things. What?
No, I'm just saying careful. I'm just asking people to be careful.
Oh my god.
Just in case.
Remember when Peter turned up late? Oh.
No, I just wasn't sure exactly how far you were going to go.
No, there's no.
It's your standard Spider-Man origin story.
It's just, it's as matters. It's a typical thing. Like, everything's coming up for Spider-Man. It all collapses.
All coming up
on it.
Millhouse.
And it's definitely what's going to happen with these games, I reckon. I think they're building up to things like that, where Peter will have his own company. He's got a good relationship with Miles. His relationship with MJ is going good. Like, everything's good. But we saw how much shit he went through in the first game. They're obviously going to pile it on.
They got up the ante a bit.
And then by the third game, it'll just be like, wow. Like, he still wants to be a hero. Like, I'm sure in the third game we'll be walking around.
And you think we'll be
as Peter,
seeing other
Spider-Man at that
characters
stage.
in there?
Pardon?
Do you think we'll be seeing, just to cycle back to our MCU idea?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to
Will
get.
you seeing other characters?
That's
the
what I was
closest thing
gonna
we got
get
with
at.
Spider-Man was that you can see Avengers Tower in it.
Maybe Daredevil will turn up.
He's based in New York as well, isn't he? Yeah.
But I don't think we can do an MCU movie at this stage. Oh, game, sorry, at this stage. I mean, it's great because Spider-Man definitely is like that really cool character that everybody can appreciate and things like that. But I mean, does anyone really want to play a game as, a character like Hawkeye or Falcon or?
If they get the systems right, I guess it could be okay. But I understand your point, though.
Like, I think the best part of these games are these Marvel Ultimate Alliances and things like that. I think they work well because they're able to arc huge amounts of characters over huge different universes, telling like epic stories and things like that in one game. When you start to I don't know. Like, it'd be really cool to see games get their own chance. Like, would love to see an Iron Man game, not a VR game, like a proper Iron Man game. Like, I don't love the look of this
VR,
Square Enix.
Oh, the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either.
Like, apparently, even the people that played it at Comic-Con weren't enamoured with it either.
Yeah,
they got to open up to public in that case.
The trailer for it just went,
give me comic.
Yeah, it doesn't feel quite right.
It just doesn't. There's something wrong with it.
Give me comic-y. Don't give me real lifey kind of.
They've almost gone too close to the MCU. Is what they've done there.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, there's been movies on it already. You don't really need.
I'm burnt out.
From Software continuing to troll this show.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I really do. I think that it'd be awesome if you could nail a Hulk game. You could nail it. Like, even if it was just 4, like even a Captain America game, bam, and then it's just like, and this is the Avengers game. It's like, what? No shit. Like, and they do.
Have they gone with the Avengers too soon?
Yes.
Probably.
And I don't mean in terms of just the release date. Like, they've developed
individually though. Either that's the other.
Yeah, they're gonna hold up as individual games if they were to separate those guys.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the big issues you can have with like games. Like, you think about how they would develop, say, the MCU, and they go, okay, we're going to do a movie about this character, and they can just sit there and they can just write their script, and it will just fit in neatly alongside everything else they've already done. And maybe it's the next step in the thing. Maybe it's some sort of little bridging thing. Maybe it's a what if, like apparently is going on.
What if?
There's one called What If or something. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Like, they can just write, and then they just record their shit, and it all just fits in line with it, and great. You put the movie out, and people will spend billions of dollars watching it because they'll consume everything. But when it comes to the games, because of how game development works, and like, you might have this great idea, like they've got their story idea, and they see all these little flows, and they want this to happen, and maybe this thing can't be achieved by the team because technically, like, there was some sort of issue in development that means that they can't I think about back in the day with like Uncharted 2, they tried to get their like the building collapse scenes and all those sort of things, and that took 3 years for someone to just render that one little scene where it was like the building collapse, because there was so many technical aspects involved in that and getting all these things working together. And I'm sure there's similar sorts of stories going on in game development still these days, where they're trying to get all these things to work together, and maybe they hit that hurdle, and all of a sudden another game that also got started in development was meant to maybe come out before Game X. Now, it was after Game X. It's now coming out beforehand. It throws your whole story continuity out of whack, and it's almost like the problems that you can potentially have with games development almost make it almost impossible to get that flow right, unless we as the consumers are prepared to just go, it's going to be out of sync. Like, I'm just going to have to accept that I might play this game and have no idea what's going on because this middle chapter's missing for some reason.
Well, something like a 10 or 12 hour game, yeah, maybe, but
Yeah,
going on games these days,
they're getting longer and longer.
they're way too long. There could be like a 50-hour game. You're going, no, I don't want to play another 5 of these. I'll be dead.
Unless we just have to accept the fact that, unlike the movies where you might get 2, even sometimes 3 a year, that you might just have to settle for, I'll get Spider-Man, and then maybe a year or 2 I'll get Iron Man, and I'm not going to count Ultimate Alliance because it's a kind of different thing there. And then maybe a couple of years after, I'll get my sequel to Spider-Man because we know that's absolutely going to happen. And then I'll get my sequel to this, and that gives them time so that if they do hit these bumps, they can still find other ways to make it work. And they can tease things, and maybe it's not as in your face. You know, we're not all of them piling in. We're maybe, as we're swinging around through New York, we're hearing through J. Jonah Jameson that Captain America's done this, and this has happened, and this has done all these fucking superheroes. Blah, blah, blah. And that's the extent of what we get. But there's those things in every game, so it still connects them somehow.
But also too,
they make cameos. Maybe.
You know, like what with Mass Effect, if you do this choice or do that, it sort of affects
other games.
Next game.
Holy shit! And that, I mean,
if you play like a different game and you haven't done that, sort of thing, but it's in the other game, then it's going to confuse you. Go.
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
And the other problem that comes with that is you've got different teams developing it. So you basically have to get developers, some of them who, like, you know, say, let's use Spider-Man as your example from before, who are working exclusively with PlayStation. You've got to get PlayStation to go, here's our stuff, to some other studio. And we know that secrets don't stay secret in the games industry. All of a sudden, you've just out of the next 10 games that involve Spider-Man, that involve Captain America, Iron Man, this. That's it. It all blows up. I would love for this to happen. It'd be great. But I don't know if I can actually see it working.
I don't see it working either.
No,
unless we just have to accept that they're all standalone things. Spider-Man gets his 3-game arc. Iron Man gets his couple-game arc.
Look at this.
Captain Marvel gets hers.
We're completely ignored one of the biggest issues in this that's already here. Darksiders.
What? They can just be all parallel.
Look at Darksiders though. Like it's like what are we gonna get? We're gonna get part 4, and we're still not gonna have answers. Or you're gonna make it like part 5, and then they're all.
Of course, part 4 will answer it, but
like it doesn't gel well. They're great standalone games. Don't get me wrong. They don't fucking use that look. You shat on DC for a while. Eat my ass.
Darksiders is far better than anything DC's ever done.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
So good.
Batman's amazing. So the Arkham games are just gems.
It's just like well, what are you trying to do here? Like, how does this run? Like, it doesn't. There's not a lot of sense made from what Darksiders has given us. To be honest, it does not make a load of.
Well, they haven't really actually progressed anywhere since the first game. Like, they're all parallel. Like, I get it. I get it. And I'm hoping that. Yeah, they.
Number 4 doesn't answer. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, we don't have 4 announced yet, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's even worse.
Well, no, we know it's going to happen. 3 just came out last year. It's too soon to get 4 announced. But yeah, I follow what you mean.
Well, the 5th one would be all them assembling.
Oh, fuck.
Here's hoping.
So.
You better.
Pardon my French, but jeez, and that's the issue. That's the issue I see. I just see this block, and these design changes and game changes, and you're just like, and then it's just one game's not as strong as the other, and then you get people just like, oh, I'm just gonna miss it all. I don't give a shit, and then like they just want to play the ultimate combo game, and
And then the Bloodborne dude comes in and slices everyone up, and it's all
No, actually
over.
watched it.
Again, listeners, we've got Bloodborne playing in the background here.
Trevor Phillips comes in and just goes, "What?"
Then all the characters are added to Smash. And, you know,
Alongside Goku and Banjo.
A new character has arrived.
I don't know. I love the idea. When you first proposed it, I was like, ooh, that's awesome. That's a really cool idea. And then I thought, like, sat back and I'm like,
I think it's a brilliant idea, but I just don't see how it works.
just doesn't.
It just can't come together.
It just won't. It's too much. It's too much work for the games industry. Unless you had, like, teams of thousands working on this.
Yeah,
Like-
unless you created a mega studio where every single game is developed under that thing.
Yeah.
Disney could just buy everyone out. That's possible. with the amount of
Disney
money
could
they've
make
got.
their own goddamn studio and be like, hey,
They actually shut them down a few
Yeah, I
years
know,
ago, and then they started like, and actually,
know,
look, it wasn't working. Yeah,
They shut down.
and things weren't working for them. So like, we'll outsource. Like, we'll go and identify teams that can do our franchise. So let's use Spider-Man as the example.
Square
We'll
Enix
get them to do
Donald
justice
Duck.
to it. Yeah. And they've largely done a pretty good job, and I feel like I have to believe that Avengers will work out only because it's got the folks who did Tomb Raider on it, and they're a super talented team. But it does look a bit... it's a bit wobbly at the moment, how things stand.
It just looks very linear.
Yeah.
It's like something that... It's like, give me something I haven't seen before.
They just need to give us a
Or-
big 30-minute drop of just gameplay and just, this is what it's going to be like. And if
what is the Avengers?
Avengers.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I totally agree, it looks linear, it looks
It just does not
generic.
Look,
It
it doesn't look like what's me like, oh, I want to play it. It's just like, whatever.
And also, you look at Thor, and it's like I've made my comments about Superman before, but it's totally the same thing. Thor, Hulk, they should just crush these people. And yet,
A Hulk's a whole different thing, isn't
But
it? It's like,
Thor-
how do you
Thor
know
with
it's
his
fucking
mu-
Hulk? Like,
Yeah.
he's goddamn... They had to teleport him to a completely different planet. Planet Hulk. And he came back, and he was destroying Earth by just being angry. Like, he would just stomp the ground, and nuclear radiation was pouring out of him. It's like, yeah, he's cool. He's not broken to having a game.
yeah, and that's a whole other thing. And it works with your arcadey things, like your Ultimate Alliances.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to tell a serious thing, like Avengers, I worry.
Yeah.
And that's not even necessarily the fault of, what's their name? The people who do Tomb Raider.
Square Enix.
Well, Square Enix published it,
Or
but...
Eidos.
Oh, shit.
Lara Croft.
Crystal Dynamics. It's not even their fault, but they've got these conditions based on what they've got to work with,
Yeah.
which
I
they
didn't-
don't lend themselves well to games.
It just didn't have to go. You didn't have to model the characters after what we know from the MCU, though. You can tell they're so close to that. Like,
They've seen so much of it, they probably didn't even try to actively do it, and yet it still ended up looking like a bit like.
look, I've got this great idea. He looks like Robert Downey Jr.
But he's not.
But it's Nolan North.
Doesn't look that far off the mark anyway. But give me more games with Nolan North. Nolan North's a champion. He's just in every game as it is.
Pretty much.
He's in Destiny like as 3 different characters at this point. So
He's in Assassin's Creed.
yeah, so it's getting a little out of hand. But any other closing thoughts when it comes to this? Not at you. This is at his sister. Who's just off camera.
I'm not abusive.
It was a two-way thing. It's all right. Everyone loves everyone.
Especially Raymond.
Yeah. Are there any closing thoughts about a Marvel Cinematic Universe
Good luck.
of games? I should say.
Yeah, if
Marvel,
they haven't done it by,
MCU,
if they haven't done it by
Gaming
now,
universe.
yeah, it's not going to be a thing.
It'd be cool if they
Not
somehow.
with the Square Enix version anyway. Like, maybe if you just went like a cell shaded game or something like that, and like, yeah, very comic-y, that you could just use that engine on every game.
Yeah.
Maybe then, but individual super realistic hyper-graphic games, nah, that's way too much.
Just the biggest shake of the head of all time. No from Matto.
No. It's a no from me.
And yeah, I kind of agree. Not because I think with time it could totally work, but are they prepared to wait 10 years and get 2 games out the door because they need to take their time to make sure the game comes out okay? Then we start developing the next one. If they could do that, they'd be fine. If they're willing to do that, they're fine. and it takes 15 years before we finally get our moment where things finally come together with, say, an Avengers style thing. But I think they're too keen to get the ball rolling like the movies, and you hit some roadblocks. But maybe that's not their intent either. Maybe they're pretty happy keeping them all separate.
True.
And that if that's the case, well, that's good too. So, for the longest time before the cinematic universe came along, we were getting just standalone movies based on characters, and they weren't all good.
They were,
but Spider-Man 1, 2, for example, brilliant. Yep. And there was not a trace of anyone else.
The first Blade was okay.
Yeah.
3 was a comedy.
Yeah. Like the
2 Thor movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ragnarok saved it.
Well, yeah, but even then, they were part of the DCU at this. MCU.
It was just Korg.
But like we've had an era pre-MCU where we got standalone movies and they could work.
Yeah,
they weren't always executed properly, but they could work. And maybe that's just the path they need to go down, and they just keep them disconnected, and that's fine. And maybe there's little teasers again, like your J. Jonah Jameson's screaming and shouting about whatever, and there's little newspapers that say, "Oh, Iron Man did this" and whatever in the background. That might work. Anyway, you would say go play Ultimate Alliance anyway.
Oh yeah, just go play Ultimate Alliance,
and you'll have a great time.
If you want a superhero game, just get South Park. Scratch your butt hole.
It's a decent point.
Yeah.
Or go play Spider-Man.
See them just trying to figure out that whole phrase.
Yeah. That's a good game.
Their Netflix series and origin movies.
You're on Twitter.
Matt_Phil.
Damo, you're on Twitter.
At Clementine. At Taco Store.
Clementine.
Paul James Games for me. Player2AU for the website. That's not there anymore. I keep doing that. Visit the website, player2.net.au. Like, share, subscribe. Visit us on Patreon. Patreon.com/player2AU. Kicking a few bucks. Be like King Kong Long Dong, who pledges and continues to pledge, I'm sure. I haven't checked in a while. Thank you for your support.
Can you imagine if he has changed
he pledged 1 month and that was it, he's gone.
He's
I've just been
changed his name
thanking
to
him.
Kong Dong Long John, and like just keeps changing it each month for you, and you're like, you've just given him the same name every month.
I changed that months ago.
King Kong Long Dong with a bong.
Single tear of unhappiness.
But until next time, where we discuss God knows what, because this crazy industry is crazy. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.